Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to this channel, my name is Frank Zhu, and I'm a college professor teaching sociology, history, and philosophy. I'm also an award-winning landscape photographer. Today, I'm making another video about communication. You may remember I have made two videos on this subject. One about nonverbal communication and the other about being a good listener. If you missed them, I will leave the links down below in the comments section. Please check them out. Today's video is a bit different from those two videos because today's video will be focused on communication in public. In other words, this video is about how to make a good speech in front of a group of people, such as making a presentation at a business meeting. In fact, I'm planning to make a series of videos on this subject, and today's video is the first episode of this series. As a college professor, I'm basically doing public speeches in every class. Also, I used to be the chairperson of the Arts and Sciences division for nearly 15 years and had to speak at every divisional and departmental faculty meeting. And of course, I've also made lots of speeches in front of an audience other than my students or my faculty. As both a professor and a public speaker, I'm aware of the importance of being able to speak effectively and confidently in public. I'm also aware that many people are scared of public speaking. They find it very difficult. It is, of course, even more difficult for those of you whose first language is not English. This series of videos that I'm making will hopefully help those people. In these videos, I will talk about many aspects of public speech, such as how to introduce yourself, how to start a speech, how to catch the attention of the audience, how to get rid of stage fright and be confident, how to use the body language, and so on and so forth. Of course, I will also share with you many useful skills and strategies that I personally find useful. If you are interested, please subscribe to my channel so you will not miss those videos. Unlike a personal conversation which you have with a friend or family members, a public speech is one you make in front of a group of people. A personal conversation is casual and informal, but a public speech is intentional and formal. A personal conversation is usually spontaneous and unprepared, but a public speech is usually well prepared and well organized and with a purpose. A personal conversation is an interactive process in which everyone takes turns to talk, but a public speech is a monologue, not a dialogue. It is delivered only by you in front of a quiet audience. You have to do all the talking until you are finished. Unlike a personal conversation where you feel relaxed, a public speech is the time when you are being judged by many people and you feel worried. But public speaking is needed in many situations. And that brings us to the second question, namely, why do we make public speeches? Generally speaking, there are three major purposes or reasons for public speaking. The first is to entertain your audience. You want to elicit a pleasurable response, such as speaking at a graduation ceremony, or you want to provoke a certain kind of curiosity and provide a certain kind of suspense, such as telling a story, or you want to amuse your audience, such as telling a piece of joke. Take me, for example. I'm a New Yorker, and as a New Yorker, I can entertain my audience in several ways. I can amuse them by explaining how interesting or how difficult it is to live in New York City. Or I can hold them in suspense while I tell them how I was robbed on New York subway. Or I can tell them funny stories about my life in New York City. Another purpose of making a public speech is to inform. To put it another way, you want to add to the knowledge or understanding of your audience, as I do as a college professor. Or you want to tell them how to do something, or you want to explain the process of something, such as making a presentation at the workplace. Or you want to describe an event or show a place or demonstrate a new product, such as speaking in front of a group of visitors or customers. In one word, you want to provide information. Again, take me for example. I can make a speech explaining how the name of New York City was changed from New Amsterdam. Or I can show tourists where to do sightseeing in New York City. Or, as a photographer, I can demonstrate how to take good photos in New York City. Still, another purpose is to persuade, convince, or actuate. To convince is to change your audience's opinions or to commit them to a new point of view, such as speaking at a political campaign. To reinforce is to make them stick to the existent points of view. To actuate is to call for action on something. For example, I can make a speech to motivate my audience to donate to charity organizations in New York City. Or I can prove to my faculty members that my teaching method is the best. Now, let me move on to the next question. If I have to make a speech, what should I talk about? Well, before you decide on what to talk about, you have to do the so-called audience analysis. To analyze the audience is to get as much information as possible about your audience and break it down into different categories. For example, how large will your audience be? Obviously, a small room will be different from a lecture hall because it means whether you will have direct face-to-face contact with them and whether you need to raise your voice. What kind of audience are they? Are they mostly young people or old people? Mostly female or male? What about their racial and ethnic backgrounds? Are they highly educated? Are they middle-class people or working-class people? Finally, you have to know whether the audience are voluntary or captive audiences. To put it another way, are they interested and therefore voluntarily come to listen to you, or are they required to be your audience? If they are required to come to the meeting, they may not be so enthusiastic about your speech, which you must be mentally prepared for because their indifferent attitude may negatively affect your speech. After the audience analysis, it is time to choose a topic or subject. Of course, if you have been assigned a topic, there is no choice. But if you do have a choice, there are several questions which may help you decide on a topic or subject. What is the purpose of your speech? Are you supposed to educate the audience or make them happy or try to ask them to do something? Obviously, the audience analysis now comes handy. If your audience is largely composed of highly educated young career women, are you going to talk about how to raise children? If your audience is mostly housewives, will you talk about politics? In addition, is your topic interesting to you and your audience as well? If you don't find your topic interesting, you won't be able to make your audience interested in your speech. Finally, which is an important question, are you qualified to speak on the subject? Do you have enough knowledge, information, or experience to talk about it? If not, don't talk about it, because you will feel embarrassed when you are asked a question and you have no idea about it. Well, that is all that I wanted to talk about today. In the next episode, I will be talking about how to introduce yourself and how to start the speech in the most effective way so that you can immediately catch your audience attention and achieve your purpose. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.